Good evening and welcome to tonight's regional news. The Trinidad and Tobago Ministry of Health on Wednesday confirmed its first 2 cases of the COVID-19 Delta variant of concern. The first patient is a recently returned national who traveled to Trinidad from the United States. The second patient is a recently returned national who traveled to Trinidad from Mexico, transiting through Panama and Guyana. The presence of these Delta variants were confirmed via gene sequencing at the laboratory of the Faculty of Medical Sciences, University of the West Indies. According to the World Health Organization, WHO, there have been confirmed cases of the Delta variant of COVID-19 in 142 countries. Research has suggested that the Delta variant is more easily spread from person to person as compared to previous variants, estimated to be 2 to 4 times more transmissible than the original Wuhan lineage of the virus. This variant may also lead to an increase in cases of COVID-19 in younger age groups and in those who have been previously infected. And in Antigua and Barbuda, Minister of Information, Broadcasting, Telecommunications and Information Technology, Melford Nicholas, has admitted that there have been several threats made against him and his family over the last several weeks. The minister, who regularly comes under scrutiny during the weekly cabinet press conferences, said he has been receiving more aggressive messages since St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves was injured during what authorities now say was an illegal protest in that country. I quote, "There have been not only defamatory statements made on social media, but as well of attempts at my life and the lives of my family members," end of quote, he said on Thursday morning. Nicholas believes that it is unfair that he has come under the threat of losing his life by people who try to intimidate public officials when he's only trying to perform his duties as a public servant. Meantime, Prime Minister Gaston Brown has been making public the threats made against his household. He shared a few of the messages which threatened to kill and hurt him and his family via his Facebook page. And now we tell you that the U.S. National Hurricane Center said Thursday that Fred has weakened to a tropical depression but is still expected to bring heavy rain to Cuba, the Bahamas, and southern Florida over the next day or two. Forecasters said the storm weakened overnight as expected as it passed over the higher elevations on the island of Hispaniola. It is currently moving over water 65 kilometers west-southward of the Bahamas and about 175 kilometers northeast of Cuba. Its maximum sustained winds have been recorded at about 55 kilometers per hour. Despite its weakened and disorganized status, forecasters say tropical storm conditions are possible for parts of Haiti and the Bahamas, as well as Cuba later on Thursday, with wind gusts and heavy rainfall expected. And finally, the Barbados-based Caribbean Climate Outlook Forum, CARICOF, says though the majority of the Caribbean region experienced above normal rainfall in June, drought conditions are emerging in some parts of the Caribbean, particularly in the Bahamas and parts of the Eastern Caribbean. In its August bulletin, the CARICOF said that the drought situation is also affecting the Guyanas and Belize. It said that in Bahamas, concerns over short and long-term drought in particular exist by the end of October and November respectively. I quote, "Whereas for short-term drought, there are no other parts of the region where impacts on small rivers and streams are likely by the end of October." End of quote. CARICOF says a drought warning should be considered for the Bahamas, while a drought watch should be considered for parts of Belize, Dominica, Martinique, and St. Vincent. That was all for tonight's regional news. Thank you for joining.